Hey gang, welcome back to StoryDads. We are glad you're here. Today we're doing a Halloween special. We're going to talk about Nightmare Before Christmas. This one's got a special place in my heart. I went to CalArts, which is the school where Tim Burton went. I think we might have both gotten kicked out of there. But anyway, long story for another time. Dig in and enjoy.
What's up, Micah? Happy Halloween, bud.
Yeah, you too. How is your? Does your neighborhood actually blow up for Halloween, or is it too cool?
Yeah, no, it does. Well, there's one neighborhood like a couple blocks from us that just like goes absolutely crazy. I remember back when we were in LA, we'd visit some friends out in Burbank, and it felt like every house on that street is like a Hollywood set designer. How about you guys?
This area gets pretty good. Last year we had a trailer pull up, like a giant flatbed pole trailer, filled with like preteen boys that deployed. It was like D-Day. It's like the thing dropped down and they just sprinted out and they just attacked the neighborhood. And it was Plague of Locusts, a scourge descended, and there were no longer candy bars. But dude, growing up for me, Halloween was it. And it was the night where the curfew was off. Growing up in Oregon, it was like late summer would be like 100 105 degrees, and then like boom, it'd be cold on Halloween night, and usually raining because it's Oregon, but mayhem and just like sacks of candy. Okay, so let's talk about the movie we're doing. In lieu of this special holiday, we're doing
The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is I don't know any other movie or any other concept which is about blending holidays together. Like we'll get into like themes of it, but it's this movie feels such like, if you want to, we talk a lot about exploring like spirituality and what spirituality is and spiritual entities. Two spirits colliding, in the spirit of Halloween, the spirit of Christmas colliding, and what happens when these things mix. It's kind of a cool exploration of that in a way that no other film as overtly explores it in that same way, at least off the top of my head.
Yeah, and it's also super clever because from a marketing standpoint, if I can be like skeptical about it.
Cynical it up, man.
Yeah, the classic holiday movies are hard to do on purpose, and it's a sector that you try to get into because you get that guaranteed, people keep watching and watching and watching. You get at least one rewatch for people a year. So you get some royalties and all that. And to take Halloween and Christmas and mix them, it's like, hey, now you get to watch it twice a year.
Well, and it kicks off the whole season, right? Because you got Halloween, 2 months later you got Christmas, so it's like this is ushering in the whole. I mean, even the start of it is like the very start of this movie is we just had a great Halloween, that was awesome. Okay, let's start prepping for the next one. No, Christmas is right around the corner, and then they start mixing.
And then again, my other hot take, my personal favorite is Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and I don't know what it is. I get all weepy about Thanksgiving, and I'll forgo traditions around everything else, but Thanksgiving, we're holding tight. And I don't even like turkey, but we are not giving Thanksgiving the short shrift.
Sure.
And I do notice, I think there is a tree at the beginning, when he goes through the grove of all the
there's a tree with a turkey on it.
There's a turkey in there. Yeah. Just doesn't happen to play into this one, understandably.
Right. But it would be the one that you think would play. There's an Easter egg in there where like they bring the bunny out because the lock, shock, and barrel go to the wrong place. But we'll get into the story in a second. But the Thanksgiving is between Christmas and Halloween. No appearance in there, and spiritually, I actually think it makes sense. These are it doesn't fit in what you
and it doesn't have an iconic persona that comes with it. It doesn't have a dominant.
Yeah, but they created Jack Skellington for Halloween in this, which they nailed it. The Pumpkin King and his Tim Burton character design is ideal for it.
Yeah. So let's dive into the film.
What do you think of this one? Do you like this one? It's decidedly different. It's stop motion animation. It's Tim Burton at his most Tim Burton. Tim Burton is always at his most Tim Burton, but
that's true. I don't think he has an easy mode. I think
he doesn't have a
it's worth mentioning. It's called Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, and until I was older, I didn't know that he didn't direct it, and I didn't know that he was just one of the writers.
I didn't know he didn't direct it until last night when I finished my rewatch, and the first thing is some other guy's name comes up.
Yeah, what?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
He was on the ascendancy at this point because he had done some great stuff. And I should also say, I went to CalArts, and at CalArts, Tim Burton is a patron saint. He, in a lot of ways, put that school on the map. And there's the experimental animation department exists more or less because of Tim Burton, because of Henry Selick in this movie. Okay. And so I attended CalArts from 1998 to the year 2000 when I got kicked out, and that's a story for another episode. But Tim Burton was the legend. He was like, and at the time Pixar was at its ascendancy as well. But he had just done 2 Batman movies. Batman Returns is one of my all-time favorite movies, which is also a hot take, very unpopular. But Batman 1989 it blew up Batman, because before that it was why am I blanking on his name? Adam West. It was and it was this sort of silly,
cartoony, but live action at the same time. Yeah,
it was self-aware, primetime, tongue-in-cheek comedy. It was like a primetime comedy, and he took the Frank Miller vibe and repurposed Batman into we would not have comic book movies.
It's how we normally it's how we normally think of Batman as Gotham, dark, grimy town. This guy's gotta pull it together, which that was not Adam West at all. Like Batman's original conception was certainly not that, and now it's our primary thing we think of it.
Yeah, and that Batman logo is still on T-shirts. There's been a dozen Batman movies since then, but the logo that sticks is still that one.
Is the Tim Burton one. Yeah,
they just crushed all the whole thing. Anyway, so Tim Burton at this point can do no wrong. You put his name at the top of this, and here we are. 30 years later, and you're just now finding out that he didn't direct it. So sorry, Henry Selick. But also, you made an awesome movie. So this one's popular in our house. We let this one rip, and I'm curious why. And so I'm hoping this conversation we pick it apart.
Okay.
And because I don't think I've analyzed it too much. I think it's always been look, we're team Tim Burton, and So go ahead. What do you think?
So the feel of this film, it kind of feels like it's a short film. First of all, it feels like a long episode of a TV show. The story arc, it's not following a hero's journey, so to speak. There's a lot of similarities to Wreck-It Ralph, which is about what's your place. Ralph wants to be a good guy, but he's really a bad guy, and he needs to learn to embrace that. Jack is the king of Halloween. He puts on a great Halloween. Everyone loves him for it. He's got his town, which the town is its own, we're talking about the spirit of Halloween, and all the townspeople just kind of follow Jack. And then there's the spirit of Christmas and Christmas Town, and all the the elves and everyone there, they follow Santa Claus. So it's just both of these things embodying these two spirits that are kind of coming together. And so it's kind of an exploration of what happens when Halloween decides to usurp Christmas. We're gonna do Christmas, but that's not what your place is. That's not what your gifting is. Similar to Wreck-It Ralph, he's got his role to play. He doesn't want to play that role. He wants to do something else. So there's a lot of that there. But I was thinking, we'll get to this, but we do villain comeuppance for everyone. Oogie Boogie he's a villain, but he's not the antagonist of the whole story. Jack kind of is himself, and it's more about so the way the story is told feels kind of disjointed, which is weirdly fits for a Halloween story where everything is disjointed and upside down, and we're doing things in the wrong place. And Jonathan Pajot, I watched a video of his, and he kind of talked about it as our country's version of a carnival where like everything gets disorganized and upside down and people are wearing masks and seemingly tearing apart at the culture around it. So, darkness and Halloween stuff is kind of an exploration of that. But it's not just one of those things. What's your
I'm thinking about I love the parallel to Wreck-It Ralph, and that it's an exploration of ultimately gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this dissatisfaction with his lot in life, which is funny. He's the king, right?
He's the king.
Isn't that the king? Because there's a mayor.
He's the pumpkin king.
Right, but he's the king. Like there is no, but later we learn there's this disgruntled Oogie Boogie that has sights on his throne.
Yeah,
but
well, kind of.
Like he's down to usurp Jack if he can, but it's not really his pride. So
we'll get to that because I have a take on Oogie Boogie that I think is like the thing I'll get to now. Like I think the thing Oogie Boogie represents is like everything in Halloween Town is kind of fun, and like there's this town and it's playful, but it's still Halloween, and Oogie Boogie like lives in like the underworld of Halloween Town, and to me he kind of represents like there still is a dark side to this. Like he lives in a torture chamber, and he is made out of bugs, which is like grime and decay and sin, and it's everything that's kind of falling apart. And he's in Halloween Town. He's the one actual sinister or like sadistic character, whereas it seems like so you can play in this world. There's still some malevolence in there still, and I think that's what Oogie Boogie represents.
No, that's cool. I like that, and he has these demonic minions.
Yeah,
who are
children. They're little trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, they're trick-or-treaters that have given themselves over to this place.
Yeah.
And so they have a unique ability to cross realms and be somewhat useful idiots. And
they're not. But we'll get to Lock, Shock, and Barrel too. But yeah, Jack's the king.
Yeah, so Jack's the king. He's got a beautiful woman that adores him. I don't know about you, but when girls go in the adult women do the Sally costume, it's just it's so hot. Like it's a good one. It's like classy and tasteful, and it's like, she's a babe.
Yeah. Well, okay. Aside on that, why do every creative and artist and visual artist in particular that I know, like the creative twisty nature of Halloween, they love it. They eat it up.
Yeah. Well, I think you and Peugeot are onto something. Is it does represent being at the fringes. It represents a conflicted identity where it's spooky and harmless. It's a way to play with darkness without getting tainted by darkness.
Right.
It's a time where you wear masks like Carnival. Like I get to invert, I get to play with identity in a way where it's a game that we've all agreed on the rules. Everyone gets to wear a mask. You get to misbehave for a night. And you get to role play as the ghouls and the goblins. And you kind of exercise that with an O, not an E. And you get that out of your system. And then it was all good fun. You do it in a way where it's like, it's going to be crazy, but no one's getting hurt.
Yeah.
And
it's contained. We do it for a night and then back to work in the morning.
Yeah, it's the rated PG version of The Purge. And
well, it's what Halloween Town is, right? Minus Oogie Boogie. Like there still is a sinister part, and you gotta watch out for that because that's there. But Halloween Town itself is this light, playful thing. But Jack, I think, as the king it works because he's the guy in charge. Everyone kind of comes to, and everyone else there is kind of a dope. It's kind of a sycophant. I think the mayor character is really fun because he's totally useless,
and he's two-faced. I love that.
He's two-faced. Yeah, he's two-faced. He's totally useless mayor, and because he just kind of does whatever other people ask him. He's not a leader at all. And so it kind of, the town goes as the hero goes. Jack shows up and it's like, hey, let's do Christmas again. Everyone's like, I don't know what that is, but we like you, so let's just go do this. It's only the beautiful woman who loves him, Sally, that says like, I don't think it's a good idea, bud.
And she actually understands his character. She understands his place in the world.
Yeah.
And her own conflicted nature of, am I going to remain in thrall to this like demented dad? She has to get away from this weird relationship with her father so that she get out from that to find her voice, where she's able to be this voice of understanding and insight into Jack's character. Yeah. But before we go there, I want to, I think there's something about Oogie Boogie that when the king is in this place of ingratitude and he's trying to become something that he's not in order to win the accolades of people, he's trying to be loved. He's trying to find the love of the public, and that people don't respond to Thanksgiving with love, and they respond and happy, which is the saccharine version of joy, right? Happy is sort of the icing version of the cake of joy. And so he's pursuing being happy and being adored and, having likes and followers, right? So he's going for the Christmas thing because that's great, and it looks great. He has no idea what responsibility goes into it. He just
he's not equipped. He doesn't know how to do it.
Right.
He has no idea how to do Christmas. He doesn't understand Christmas. He doesn't. He likes it. He's interested in it. Right. I think there's.
But he's interested in the sparkles and the glitz of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is he abdicates the responsibility of running his own kingdom, which allows Oogie Boogie to, let's suppose it allows Oogie Boogie to gain in strength and influence.
Yeah.
And the fact that he is composed of insects and rot is appropriate, because it's, if you're a homeowner or a land, you care for land or property or anything like that, that when you neglect it, insects, rot, pests, all these things are more than happy to fill in the void.
Right.
And same when a leader abdicates their responsibility to serve their constituents. You start getting your attention over here, there's the parasites are more than happy to come in and go, great, we'll expand, we'll take over. And when you come back, you're not going to be able to deal with the parasites.
Right. Yeah. And I think so Oogie Boogie, we kind of got this a second ago, but his connection to the rest of the town at the beginning, it's these little trick-or-treaters, these lock, shock, and barrel, who Jack hires them as his henchmen. That's when they're first introduced. He's giving everyone his plan to take over Christmas. He's like, you guys actually have a special job and his special job is to kidnap Santa Claus, which is Disney having a song about kidnapping and murdering Santa Claus. That's interesting.
It doesn't go on the playlist with all the princess songs,
but it's a good, spooky, kind of creepy song.
It's awesome.
But but that's where Jack kind of crosses the Rubicon. It's like, all right, you've made a deal with Oogie Boogie and his henchmen, and it's not directly with Oogie Boogie, who's malevolence, and you're getting into some bad places here. But there's real damage that's being done. There's you're kidnapping someone in order to take over this role that you want, and the only person who really notices that things are off is Sally.
Yeah, and so what is it about her? She is constantly in a place of reassembling herself, and so she has this ability she can personally shapeshift, because she can take herself apart. So there's this disintegration that she's able to do with her own body. The best stories take metaphors and then physicalize them, I think. So she's able to sort of dismember whatever her self-image or whatever, as she can repurpose herself, and then she can put herself back together in a way.
Yeah.
That gives her a unique perspective.
Yeah, she's explicitly feminine. She's extraordinarily compassionate. Even from the get-go, she's crying for Jack when she hears his lament song. And that's the first introduction to her, is just something's wrong with Jack. Well, I'm worried about him. Is he okay? And then I'll sacrifice whatever of myself. I'll tear myself apart in order to get to him, in order to serve this guy.
Yeah. And she will poison her caretaker, right? So we know that she's super resourceful.
Yeah.
And self-sacrificing. And so she is, so in a way, I wonder if she doesn't embody the servanthood that you want from a servant leader, from a compassionate king, a compassionate
Yeah.
leader. And so she demonstrates all the qualities of royalty
Yeah.
that you would hope that they would have.
Yeah.
And yeah, devoted to Jack, which is, just sweet. And
yeah.
And it's funny, there's something about these sort of like dark gothy feminine archetypes that the artsy girls are drawn to as heroes and emulation, and like, because artsy girls are always doing Sally costumes, but they're also drawn to Harley Quinn. And before whatever it is they did with Harley Quinn in the recent movies, which totally like blows up the archetype that they created. But I think it was Dan Reba, and anyway, it was for the Batman cartoon is when they invented Harley Quinn. And she started as this sort of goth role play mock submissive thing, like her like devoted, like her devotion to
the Joker.
To Joker, who is a Jack Skellington, a more violent, obviously, but like he's charismatic and he's trickster, right? And so it's this devotion to the trickster god, which I would love to maybe do a dive into like Native American lore and African lore and look back at the various trickster gods and like, do they always come with the devotee? Like, is that part of the dynamic?
Is devotion to is that integrated in cross cultures?
Yeah. And Harley is also, not to get detoured onto Batman, but Harley is also often the voice of sanity, or the bridge into something that resembles reasonableness for Joker in her original incarnation. And Sally is the bridge into insight and reasonableness and sanity for Jack Skellington. So it's an interesting dynamic.
Have one quick break from the episode. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps us out a ton, and we can keep these things going. So yeah, back to the episode. So story goes forward. Jack kidnaps Santa Claus, and it's interesting because Jack doesn't even know. He doesn't even see like what the impact is. It's like, I've done the thing. I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be aware of what the consequence of that's going to be. So he's swept his sin under the rug. And then he usurps Christmas. He goes and does it, and it's this twisted Christmas Halloween mashup, and it's a catastrophe, and it ruins Christmas. And the whole thing where the news reporter is saying over the news, like, everything's going crazy, we don't know what's happening. Like, it's not just a catastrophe for his world, it's a catastrophe for all of the public.
Yeah. The public, the Christmas world, and Halloween Town are all jeopardized by sort of stepping out of this created order.
Yeah. Which I think parallels to Wreck-It Ralph, right? Ralph leaves his game, it destroys his game, it has the potential to wreck the Sugar Rush game, and it wrecks the Heroes Duty game. So like, it's all the places he goes, everything's out of order. Like, all these things start to deteriorate and fall apart.
Yeah, and because the message of the story is not stay in your lane. Just like the message of Wreck-It Ralph is not stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And so why is this necessary for Jack? Why is this a necessary story? Or why does it feel like there's catharsis?
Yeah, well, so at the beginning, his problem is like, I just do the same dang thing over and over again. Like, it's another great Halloween. It's the best one ever. And I've done it. I've done it 1,000 times. And his first song, I think, kind of tells that story. Like, I'd give it all up if I could just do something else, right? So it's an ingratitude, and he's burnt out. He's burnt out on the thing. He's become his talent and his gift. He's now subservient to it. It's no longer a creative thing that he enjoys and is life-giving.
Yeah, and he's put the cap on what constitutes a success, right? Like, he's not going, how are we going to blow this up and do it 10 times better next year? And he's also more concerned with accolade than he is romantic, committed love to a reciprocating partner.
Right.
And so this is back when they were still doing love stories in movies. And so this movie is a love story.
Yeah, I mean, it ends with them embracing on top of the spooky hill. Like, that's the end of his catharsis, is like, he realizes Sally had loved him the whole time, and that almost like quells his ambition a bit.
Yeah, he becomes the kind of person that's capable of receiving that affection.
Right.
And at first there's an immaturity and a wide-eyedness to go out and be somebody and not recognizing, oh, you actually are somebody. We talked a little bit about how like Hercules might have been, the Hercules cartoon might have been not the most beneficial model for dating. And then in this one, it's kind of the opposite, where it's saying, hey, like, you look for someone that likes you for who you are and who already sees who you can be. And so I wonder what Halloween will be like next year when he and Sally are doing it in full cooperation. And I think you're right. I think the catharsis is on that little curly hill. They come together, and it's and you go, oh, there's peace in the kingdom. Like, there's a king and a queen, and so there's continuity for this world. And after this, you could perceive it as a king invading another king's kingdom, and that it was war. And of course, there is those guns go off to shoot him out of the sky and stuff.
Yeah.
But after this war, there's peace between the kingdoms, and there's peace internally within the kingdom. The Oogie Boogie has been expelled. He dies.
Well, okay, so it's because we talked about how this is episodic. Oogie Boogie dies, but he's a bunch of bugs that are constituted together. The sense I got was it's like your Saturday morning cartoons where it's like, all right, you've won this time, guys, but until next time.
Yeah, Cobra Commander comes back.
Yeah, well, because the malevolence always reforms. It always rebuilds, and there's
the snake always gets into the garden.
Right.
Yeah, and the parasites always reemerge, and they're waiting. They're waiting for opportunity. And I mean, I pay the guy to come to my house and spray for bugs, 4 times a year. And the moment he stops, dude, I'm in Texas. It's going to be scorpions and all kinds of stuff, in the cradle, and so the parasites are constantly waiting. And the thing about a parasite is they are more drawn to the bounty of a kingdom that's doing well. Than because like they'll eat up a place that's already barren.
Yeah, right. It's all there's nothing there. They'll kind of hang out there because they're kept away, but as soon as the door comes into the lush, thriving place, they're going to go consume all that they can.
Yeah. So the better Jack's kingdom is doing, the more capacity to be parasitically fed upon there is, and the more diligent he's going to need to be in order to maintain it.
Right.
So
yeah. So let's get to the end of the story. Villain comeuppance as it starts coming to the end, right? So Jack has to repent. He's got to come back and rescue Sandy Claus and Sally, who are in the clutches of Oogie Boogie, which is kind of him. He's got to go face like, you were not where you were supposed to be. Like, I should not be in charge of Christmas. I'm not equipped to do this. In fact, I kidnapped and fed the guy to Oogie Boogie, who is equipped to do that. I got to undo that. I got to undo that sin.
Yeah. So you're, when a king takes a captive, especially if they're royalty, usually they're treated really well, and it's and they're ransomed back to the king or whatever, or they're collateral for a treaty, right? So royalty in captivity is the responsibility of the ruler and the monarch.
Yeah.
And then Sally, who's his essentially his betrothed, so these things are his responsibilities that he's now abdicated. So they're getting fed on by the predator, the parasite, and Jack's, you nailed it. Jack is the villain. Yeah. Oogie Boogie is just the personification of really his lapse.
Oogie Boogie's just the parasites and the malevolence. Like, he's just doing what he does. He's not, it's not even like, hey, I'm coming for Jack and I want to do all those things. It's like, that's what that malevolence does. And then Jack's the one screwing everything up. Oogie Boogie's not tearing apart Christmas. Like,
So Jack has to ultimately experience a death of self. So his comeuppance is getting shot out of the sky, failing, absolutely failing at his endeavor.
Absolutely failing at it.
Yeah. And then a recognition of his persona and his identity and his strengths. And I think the idea that there is far more to what he is, what he's capable of, what Halloween can be, in his charge,
and what it cannot be,
and what it should, what cannot be, and that this colossal failure and death of his ambition is actually the release to go into something far more fulfilling, which is romantic future with Sally. And we talk a lot about this integration of the masculine and feminine. It is so easy to skeptically look at it and go like, oh, the guy gets the girl like she's a prize, and it's like, no, it's
harmony being restored.
Yes, it's harmony being restored. It's integration between the two most powerful forces in humanity, which is father and mother, and masculine and feminine, and they come together.
Yeah. The cynical take,
and you get the whole human race.
The prize. Yeah, right. The cynical take of he gets the girls a prize is such a shallow and bad one.
Yeah,
because there is something satisfying. Sure. Well,
there are movies that just kind of give you arm candy to the hero, but in a well-told story, that's not what's going on.
You can do it in a shallow way, but the becomes, I don't want to say a trope because that makes it sound shallow. Like there's a reason why that feels like the proper place to do it. Yes, there's tons of shallow and almost like cynical ways that could happen, but at the end, the world is set right. The king and queen come together is like that psychologically that just makes sense,
right? And in your own household, if you grow up with two parents, when mom and dad are fighting, it sucks. But when mom and dad
are tense and often in turmoil and fighting each other, and Halloween Town's in disorder, and people are turning on each other, and then when it resolves and the issues are dealt with, mom and dad come back together, and it's a sigh of relief. The tension is released.
And then you're free to be on mission, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And so,
right.
All right. So
Jack goes back. He rescues Sandy Claus and Sally. The quick unpack of this, like he's Oogie Boogie's in a haunted casino, and torture chamber, and all. So it's like all these vices kind of wrapped up all at once, and Jack's gotta avoid all that, and then Oogie Boogie, his thread gets caught in the little spinny torture device, and then he unravels, and all of the bugs come spilling out of him into the cauldron. So he's revealed as just being a compilation of decay and all that.
And he gets undone by his own means of torture. And it hadn't occurred to me that it's all like sort of a den of vice. Like it is a little bit like Pleasure Island in Pinocchio, where this is all of the
more
urges.
Sadistic Pleasure Island. It doesn't. It doesn't have the like fun veneer. Like pleasure, it's not exactly tempting. It's just like, no, you'll fall into this, and it's just rip you apart.
That's good. And so, more or less, I mean, I think that's the symbolic nature of the film, right?
I mean, and again, it's short. It's hour and 10 minutes. It's slightly longer than Dumbo. But I think the themes, the spiritual themes of it are just interesting. Again, not from like a moral or religious perspective, but just like spirit of Halloween embodied in Jack and the town and all of these things, and Christmas, and what happens when we just kind of play and explore in these worlds. And it's fun. It's kind of a cool, again, introduction for kids in these very abstract concepts. It's a very abstract story, much more than like the linear hero's journeys that we've unpacked many of those.
And there's something about it that I think talks to maybe way ahead of its time in terms of speaking to an urge that when I was growing up, and we're close enough in age, you were experiencing the same thing, being told you can be anything you want to be, and that everyone's life project, and I think that's still this way, everyone's life project is to go save the world, is to go be the biggest, brightest, best, to be a revolutionary, to be a messiah, to be, and that's what you want to go do. And I remember the realization that, for one thing, no, you can't. You can't go do anything you want to do. There's things that are just off the table. And in any realistic sense, they're just off the table. And that's not bad. That's totally fine.
Well, and in fact, that's where all the adventure comes in, because if you have no boundaries and no constraints and you can just go anywhere, it's too many. It's too many choices.
It's too many, and you wind up on the couch doom scrolling. And,
exactly.
And going to art school and living in Los Angeles for a long time, nobody goes there to do anything other than be the biggest, boldest, brightest, the new smash sensation. That's what everybody's there to do.
Right.
And we're all Jack Skellington. We're all looking for the adulation that comes to Santa Claus. And sooner or later, if you're lucky like I was, and it takes way longer if you refuse to get the message the first few times you're blown out of the sky.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, you realize, the actual adventure and the real fulfillment is in this interpersonal relationship.
Totally.
Where you do come to death of self, perceived self, you nestle into a truer self, and you find the actual catharsis is whoever the Sally is, whoever the Jack is in your life is when you integrate that. And you go, here's adventure, here's wholeness, and here is actually how we explore potential and move forward, is in this, this cathartic integration. And wouldn't it be nice if more of us could just relax and stop trying to be Santa Claus, and also recognize that, hey, being Santa Claus is hard.
Sure. It's a burden. It's
a burden.
Heavy weight. Yeah.
Well,
I even think of like what you said about everyone moving to Los Angeles because, all right, I'm going to be the big thing. I'm going to be all that, right? Even the people who become the like huge success, you don't get there. You don't just get there right away. I mean, some people have their like overnight 15 minutes of fame and then that fizzles out. But the people who like actually become like the main staying thing, it's because you've grinded and you embraced your place in Halloween Town for a bit. And I did that role really well. And I was good at it, and I got equipped at it, and I got even better. And then over time, I developed the skill and capacity to be the Pumpkin King and raised up to this place of authority. But that involves developing a real skill and a competence.
Yeah. And I had a friend who we were in a Q&A with I think it was with Don Cheadle, and and this is years and years ago. Don Cheadle, his career vastly expanded in the years after we had this interview, but we were already really excited to talk to him even early in his career. And it's like post Boogie Nights, and he said, well, aren't you concerned that you'll be typecast? And Don Cheadle was like, you should be so lucky to be typecast.
Right.
And so same with Jack Skellington. There's a level of gratitude that is different than surrender. It's different than complacency, but there's a level of gratitude that can actually unlock you into pressing on further.
Well, and I even think of not that it was like a total typecast thing, but I look at like the spastic crazy comedians like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams. Like they were known for a thing, right? And they did a style of they did it. First of all, they were brilliant at it. No one else could do what they were doing. They did that really well. But it wasn't like I'm gonna cynically break from that allowed them to expand into all these other like dramatic type roles that they did. It's just like they did that well, and then that evolves into something else, and you let that process come to you. But the like, I need to do this. I know myself the best. I need to define how I'm supposed to be and how everyone is going to see me. And I'm going to put myself in that position. I feel like you've seen so many actors and artists, and someone that's like, they're trying to expand or break the mold into this other role, and it just falls flat and it feels contrived. And you can, they're doing that thing.
Yeah.
Which,
I think it's a fine line between the gratitude that seeks to expand and the dissatisfaction that wants to sort of force it. And famously Matthew McConaughey took his destiny and the way he was perceived in his own hands, but it didn't seem to be from a place of ingratitude. It seemed to be from a place of assertion.
Yeah.
But not angry, not grasping.
Right. He had done the romantic comedy fun guy roles around that, and he could sense that there was more, and it evolved into that.
Yeah.
Well, so with Nightmare Before Christmas, it's kind of fun because at the end of all of it, it's kind of a cool integration of these spirits exploring each other. Like the Nightmare Before Christmas taking over the haunted mansion for Christmas is a perfect. Those things fit really well, and it's kind of a fun, like, it's spooky but it's Christmassy, and you think of like Christmas
and
horror
you're referring
movies,
to Disneyland when they do that physically. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and it kind of works in this weird exploration. So it's that balance of you have to break the rules. It's not shut up and stay in your lane, don't let these things intermix, but also you got to have gratitude and still be grounded in, like, Halloween Town still needs to be Halloween Town.
Yeah. And especially, it is a story of a ruler. It's not a story of just any old individual, but
right.
But yeah, a really cool a moral in a story that you don't get all the time.
Moral in what way, you're saying?
In terms of lean into gratitude and really love and appreciate the things around you that you've been overlooking.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what we were saying a second ago, there's a big difference between pushing forward for more from a place of gratitude versus a place of, like, cynicism or ingratitude.
Yeah, and on a sort of meta level, Jack is playing Masquerade with a festival that's built around a masquerade. So he has this extended Halloween experience where he says, well, instead of playing with being something else for a little while, why don't I actually become something else for a little while? And then he gets sort of the, a bigger version of taking the mask off, which is, going back to normal life like we all do after Halloween.
I was going to say, we talked about that, like, Halloween is this one night where, you get a little spooky and get crazy and go and all these things, but it's contained there. But
he almost takes it
spills
too far.
Over. Well, no, and it would be a problem if it spilled over, and it's like, we're doing that every day. And so now the next day, like, we're not going back to work. We're still doing Halloween. And now we're still partying like that again. And now it's spilling over into Thanksgiving. And now it's spilling over into Christmas. Like everything would start to deteriorate. You can't you can send your kids to school as Batman on Halloween. It would be entirely inappropriate to do that 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Make sure your kids dress like normal people.
Yeah. That's great. And so then the idea is play with identity is great. But sooner or later, you got to come home.
Yeah. It's got its place, but that's what Halloween is for, and Christmas is an entirely different thing.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, well, dude, I think we unpacked it.
Yeah, I think we unpacked it. It's kind of like we did with Dumbo. Like, this conversation might be longer than the actual movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is fun. Hope everyone enjoyed it, and have a happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween, y'all. Trick or treat. Like and subscribe to join us for some navel gazing and occasionally super insightful depth in analyzing kids' movies and the occasional dad's night out. Hey gang, welcome back to StoryDads. We are glad you're here. Today we're doing a Halloween special. We're going to talk about Nightmare Before Christmas.